Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Florence, and welcome back. If this is the first time you've come across my video, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back again. If you watch the video and you like it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and of course comment about anything. Just let me know where you are watching this from. Are you a booktuber? Do you love books? Which books are you reading? Let's just connect. One of the reasons why I started this channel was to connect with other book lovers and to find out even more books and more books. I'm a Kenyan booktuber. I'm a Kenyan booktuber. And I live in Hamburg, Germany. And I love books, among other things. I enjoy reading, and I enjoy talking about books. I do that on my podcast. I have a podcast. It's called the One More Book Podcast. But I feel like when you have a podcast, or once in a while you get like a response on social media or something, but I feel like on BookTube you actually like really connect. So that's why I decided to start a BookTube channel. So welcome back. Sorry for the long introduction. Today I want to talk about the top 5 books for me in 2023. And I know I am so late. I'm so late because everyone has talked about theirs, but I felt like before I move on, it is never too late in life. If one of life's biggest lessons is it is never too late. So this is my top the books I love the most that I read in 2023 that I really loved. So these are the ones that I would say are top 5. I'm going to talk about them, but in no like how do you say it? I've lost so many English words. Like there's no category from best to worst. It's just the top 5 that I enjoyed reading. So the first one is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I have to admit I knew about Toni Morrison, but I had never read any of her books. But I think by listening to a lot of American podcasters, especially Black American women especially, I found out about her books. And one of her first books that I read was Beloved, which really is deep, very deep, and I feel like I need to read again. And then somehow I decided to like go down the rat hole and read more and more about her. So I read The Bluest Eye, which is actually it was her first novel. It is set in her girlhood hometown of Lorain, I think Lorain in Ohio, and it's the story about a Black 11-year-old girl called Piccola Breedlove and her lifelong wish to have blue eyes, because growing up she felt like children with blue eyes, which are typically white children, are beautiful. They are considered beautiful, and she felt ugly. In the book, it talks about her whole family just being viewed as ugly, and I think it's not even just on the outside, but also on the inside. And they were shunned by the community, by the Black community. So it is a very deep book. I feel like it really, I know there are a lot of authors who talk about racism, but I feel like she goes deep into other things like colorism, self-hatred, poverty, sexuality, not just racism. She talks about a lot in the book, and it's a book that I feel like someone needs to, or in my case, I would love to reread it, go back to it again and again, because there are just so many lessons that someone can pick up from the book. So this was one book that I really enjoyed. And I mean, I believe every book by Toni Morrison is amazing, is a classic. So I'm glad that I love this. I really did. The second book is Big Magic: Creating Living Beyond Fear. This is a self-help book by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I believe she also wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which I haven't read. I've watched the movie with Julia Roberts. Didn't really love the movie, but books turned into movies. Books and movies are totally different things, so maybe I should read that. But I don't know how I came across this book. Probably recommended by someone who saw me struggling as a creative. I've run a fashion business for almost 10 years, and unfortunately I suffered from a burnout from it, and decided to take a break from it at the moment. And I remember like the last 2 years I was struggling. I think since 2020 I've really struggled with my creativity, and someone recommended this book, and of course I went for it because I wanted to like restore my love for fashion. And when I read it, she spoke to me in a lot of ways. She was encouraging, but she also showed me the mistakes that I made. An example is expecting your art to pay you. That is something I think most creatives do, because you're told that, or you hear a lot of, it's not work if you're doing what you love, but most of the time it is work. When you're doing what you love, you put energy and time into it. It is work. And sometimes artists, any form of artistry, the returns on investment sometimes are just not so good, because we all know the struggling artist. That's a picture we all know. So we know so many people who are struggling, and I feel like sometimes we want our art to feed us, to feed our souls, but also to feed us physically, pay bills. And when we put so much pressure on it, in my opinion, I'm talking about my experience, you kind of lose the joy in it. And a Big Magic, it's just a book. I feel like it was like a cheerleading book. Most self-help books I feel like cheerleading books, and this was one especially for artists. And there's also another book that also goes a lot into like creativity that I would love to get. It's called, I believe, The Artist Way. That's one that is on my to be read list. So yeah. The third book is Rest is Resistance, by A Manifesto by Tricia Hassey. Where did I find this book? I think I saw an interview that Tricia Hassey did. No, that's a lie. One of the financial educators that I follow, Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetista, she talked about this book on her podcast, the Brown Ambition podcast. And because she was talking about being in a shade phase of life. she's worked hard, so now she wants to rest. So she was talking about the NAP ministry, Trisha Harsey, and her book. So I went and dug all the information I could about her and found out that she's the founder and creator of the NAP ministry, which is like an organization, or it started as a group of people who just, especially Black women, who just take time to sleep, to take naps. I know, crazy, but they organize themselves and they take naps. They go into sport halls, you know, like sport auditoriums, or centers, you know, like yoga centers, and they just sleep. And they just sleep, you know, somewhere where you're given room and space to sleep. And that is something that we as women, and we especially as Black women, do not do. We live in a world where it's all about productivity. And with consumerism, you just want to, you're pushed to, like, your value is attached to your output. So it's good to do something against the system. Just go against the system and take a nap. Take a nap. Of course, she talks a lot about how racism comes into it, a lot of colonialism, slavery, so much. She goes deep into our need for rest, which is so important. So this is a book that I would recommend for anyone, but especially for Black women. I know when you read a self-help book, it tells you go, but it's good to also read I would say a self-care book that tells you to rest. You don't need permission to rest. Rest whenever you need to. So yeah, I loved it. The next one is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Filiao. Yeah, and it's a collection of nine short stories which focus on Black women, and especially Black women in the church. Christianity is a theme that goes through all the stories. And we read about different Black women in their search for unrelenting love, and unrepentant, you know, like, no, where you don't, the opposite of repenting, unrepentant love. They're vulnerable, and in their way they want to be free to love and free to be loved. And yeah, it was a beautiful book. It's I don't want to give any spoilers, but if you grew up in church, I grew up in church. I still go to church, but I grew up in I was brought up with religion, and I know how much, how can I say, religion has been used unfairly to really put down women, and especially our desires, whether it's our physical, emotional, mental, all our desires have just, we are kind of told not to have them, and even if we have them, we shouldn't pursue them. So it was beautiful reading these women going through life and defying all these, like, shackles that have been put on them as Black women, and especially by the church, in their pursuit of love and what they deem as love. You know, nobody should define love for you, as long as it's consensual and all people involved are over 18 and it should be allowed. So this was a nice book. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is the Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wives by Lola Shoneyin. This book I even talked about on my podcast. I did a whole podcast about it. The audio of that episode is not something I'm so proud about, but I went deep into it. So if you'd like to listen to that, I will link the episode below of my podcast. But it's set in Nigeria. Of course, Lola Shoneyin is a Nigerian author. She actually lives in Nigeria, and it's set in Nigeria and follows the life of what was her name? Bolanle, yeah, Bolanle. And Segi, Baba Segi is a wealthy man who has 3 wives. He's a polygamist, of course, and Bolanle is the 4th wife who now joins the family. So it focuses on the typical, I would say the typical themes that are always brought up by African writers, and I would say something like women, marriage and motherhood, what is expected of women, like when are you getting married, when are you having children, your worth is somehow attached to your womb, like if you don't have kids, then it's just messed up, very messed up. And also, of course, on poverty, what pushes a lot of young girls into early marriages, and not even early marriages, but pushes them into choosing the wrong partners or being chosen for the wrong partners. And of course, patriarchy, which is everywhere, no matter where you are. But of course, in most African countries, it is up here with corruption and neocolonialism, the effects of colonialism on Africans or on the people who are colonized, and the beliefs of what a woman can and should do. It talks about it's very, I would say the themes are things that we already know about, but she brings it in a very creative way. I loved some of the ideas she brought. The things you could laugh about. They were sad, but the way she wrote about them, there were some that made me smile. Some situations made me really angry and sad. But all in all, it was a good book. Yeah, so those are five books that I loved in 2023. I believe I read around 29 books, and maybe didn't finish 3 of them, but these 5 are the ones that I can still remember. I can still remember. So they made an impact on me. Yeah, I would love to know, which books did you read in 2023? Which books did you love? Have you read any of the 5 that I talked about? Which ones would you recommend that I should start? I have a lot on my to-be-read list, but I never get tired of discovering new books and new authors. So please share in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.